I recently started a project, actually yesterday, where my objective is to create a contract first SOAP web services with Node.js TypeScript or an Java Spring Boot or Spring Web Services package. Before starting this project, I wanted to start with some preparation and warming up. First of all, I wanted to have a look what tools are available, what SOAP tools are available, and I found quite some decent package which sound decent. I haven't tried any of them, I just looked. Definitely they are not very extensive. For example, first one is Nick Thumb's TypeScript packages from GitHub, WSDL to TS SOAP, and then Marco Glassi's JavaScript examples. This is what I'm going to try today. And what is important that Ninai Pulim's Node SOAP, which is also available as a SOAP npm package, is actively maintained even today and this year versions have been released, and this exactly what I was looking for. So the whole Node SOAP package is a contract first approach, very smart and very nifty. I'm going to explain it, how it works. And also it has both then server side support as well as client side support. My goal is eventually to package into a Docker container and then publish on Azure as a application service, or maybe a virtual machine, or just a simple Docker container. Since I love TypeScript and this Node SOAP is written in TypeScript, I have high hopes to use this package for my project. So back to this TypeScript, JavaScript later. In this document I also collected quite a big bunch of information about how Visual Studio 2019 and Microsoft .NET Core, ASP.NET Core supports WFC, that is the VCF, Windows Communication Foundation, but I had to eradicate. So I spent some hours and I decided this is just a waste of time. It's not in the main interest area of Microsoft, so there is no SOAP support anymore. I mean significant. So you can install the package as an additional individual component, Windows Communication Foundation, and you can also enable deployment time, IIS support also. And then, however, when I tried my first application, my sample project with IIS, it simply didn't work as I expected. So I decided to cancel this approach. The other, which I had a look, was the Python support. Python zip is quite decent for client, but practically the server side support is non-existent. Java Spring Boot and Java Spring Web Service, however, is brilliant, extensive according to the huge amount of documentation. I haven't tried it, but definitely it's the best documented approach for web services, SOAP web services. So Microsoft abandoned this arena, but Spring Boot is actively and excellently supports it. So first, because the Node SOAP module is so brutally elegant and simple that first I'm going to give a try to this Node SOAP module, and if I fail and if I have any issues and problem with that, definitely the next is I'm going to try to give a try to Spring Boot and Spring VS based on the documentation. So anyhow, so let's see what we have today. First, what I've already tried, but I want to make a video for that, is Officer Rosmarino. Actually, this is Marco Galassi, and who made 3 years ago this Node SOAP example and published it on GitHub. It has code explanation, quite decent description. But before going into the details, let's see if his project is still, after 3 years, is still executable and running and working. So what I'm doing is just copy the GitHub link. I have already opened here Visual Studio Code, View, Command Palette, Git Clone. I copy, Control V. Okay, and here I use my NVMe disk. Let's just make a directory here, new folder, GitHub, project from GitHub, select repository location, and then here you go. Okay, it's downloaded, cloned actually. Now I'm going to open it, and it is opened. I charm. My first thing, usually what I'm doing is package JSON, what we can have here. So it has a server side part and the client part, and the main is at app.js. Okay, then let's just open a new terminal, and then first npm update, typical, just install the dependencies. In the dependencies I can see that it uses Express as a web server, and then the SOAP package. Okay, it has 7 vulnerabilities, but I don't care for the moment. So let's start the npm start. Excellent, it was started, and check this HTTP localhost WSDL to see if the service is working. Okay, let's check this. Control click. Here you go. it worked excellently. Let me try it with my other browser too. Here it is, and I have here a very interesting tool which shows the WSDL WSDL message splitter, and here is a template. So the WSDL is available, actually WSDL, and then let's give a try to the client, because this has also a SOAP client against this message splitter service. Let me just open another terminal, and then okay, let me just do a trick. I found that he doesn't have a test. Let me just change it to node client, because this way I'm going to test that. Control S and then npm test, and it worked brutally great. So friends, what is the trick here? Let's just quickly review the server side part. First of all, what it does, it has this is the splitter function. Yep, that's where the story starts interesting. Read file sync service WSDL. This is the XML file where this service WSDL comes from. Here it is. This is the WSDL file containing embedded type definitions, and here are the messages, and then we have here bindings and the port, and here is the port type with the message splitter. So a nice and then the service definition. So yeah, just a quite typical, simple but quite typical WSDL specification. By the way, I'm a big fan of this SOAP because in my opinion it's a lot more sophisticated than REST. This is a RPC invocation machinery invented in 2000, actually 20 years ago, and still it is in use in big corporate environments. I'm working for the big corporation daytime today, and it is absolutely used. The whole corporation, it's extensively, SOAP still extensively used today. So this is not a dead technology, no way, not at all. Okay, so this is the WSDL file, and then this server just simply picks up this service WSD file, and then give me a sec, XML, where this XML was used. Give me a sec. Okay. Okay, so it was here, yes. The soap object is from the soap package, and then this XML, actually this is the WSD file, is provided to the soap service along with the application, which is an Express web server, and then it listens, and the WSDL path, this is the WSDL path, and the service object is actually, here you go, this is an object with some mapping for the splitter function. It has two ports because it supports both the 1.1 and the 1.2 version of the WSDL specification, the SOAP specification. Therefore, both jumps into this splitter function, and this splitter function is called. And then when it was called, this was the client. Let's just go back to this terminal. Here you go. This was the splitter function. It was logged, so this was called when I invoked this function again. Let's just go back. No, sorry. This was invoked when I executed in this terminal with the client, because what the client did was really simple. It required only the SOAP package, and the SOAP package had a create client. If you remember in Up.js, it had the SOAP package listen, and this was the server part, and then for the client it has a create client, the URL for the WSDL, and then a function to call it. So from this WSDL, when it was created, it automatically downloads the WSDL file, so the client translates and immediately understands the syntax and the expected contract. This is the contract, and then here are the arguments, and then immediately this message splitter. Remember, this is JavaScript, so therefore there is no type checking. However, at runtime, because this client remember, so this create client was created, and then it immediately, when this URL was retrieved, it immediately invoked this function, and then this was the client. So therefore this message splitter function operation was available from this. So just remember, this is the end here. So this whole part is the function within the function. And if there is an error, of course it throws an error, otherwise it just logs the response message. And back to the arguments, this is a typical message splitting. Of course we could have used also Postman or SOAP UI or whatever tool to invoke this WSDL SOAP service. So my friend, that was it. A quick demonstration. If you are interested still in SOAP technology for experimenting, then you can start with the excellent work of Marco Galassi, who made this excellent introduction, really brutally simple, contract first approach of implementing SOAP services today. I don't think any other technology could come even close to the simplicity of this approach.